Hello everyone and welcome back to another brushwork video. And before we start with the video, I'd like to thank you guys so much for your support on our recent video, and we hope that you guys will enjoy this video as much as the last one. So without wasting any more of your time, let's start with the video. For mistake number one, it's adding too much rim light or not knowing when to add rim light. So here's an example of how it shouldn't be done, where there's too much rim light and there's a backlight, so the rim light really doesn't make sense. As in here, it's how it should be. There's no light coming from behind, which means there shouldn't be any rim lights since there's no light passing through. And that's basically it for mistake number one. Excuse me, and let's go over to mistake number 2. So here we have not knowing when to use what font. As you can see here, we have a text murder mystery. With a text like murder mystery, we want an aggressive font, so not like a more party or playful font like this one, as this one is more aggressive and this one would fit more for like a party game or more playful game, not a game as a murder game. And over here is another example where this is a party game, so a more playful logo, which there's a lot of colors and just basically happiness. So this is an appropriate font to use when it's a more playful game or playful logo. And this one over here just doesn't make sense, just doesn't fit with the whole theme, which is a party theme. And because here is just a lot of sharpness and looks like more of like a murder or horror logo, I would say, or Halloween. Just doesn't make sense with the whole party thing. So that's basically it for mistake number 2. And heading over to mistake number 3, we have making the 3D too thin. And here's an example of a 3D that is too thin, and this is how it should be instead. So this one is just the thin, and with the water we want it to look more like this, whereas where there's more depth in the logo and just looks better generally. And I'm going to show you how you could just easily achieve this depth by just let me just show you. We're just doing a couple of steps. So right here we have our text. I'll just name it brush and just change the font really quick to a better font, and just the color so you can see it better, and just change it like this. Alright, so here we have our font, and just press this layer and then just change the perspective a little bit by just dragging it out like this. By just doing this alone will give it more depth later on when you do the 3D. So then you just do the 3D as usual. We just put a better color. And okay, so this is what they do, where they're dragged down like this, and they don't actually rescale it like this and then drag it down, which gives a lot more depth than just dragging it down alone. So I recommend dragging it down if you want your logos to improve rapidly. So yeah, that's it for mistake number 3. And heading over to mistake number 4. So mistake number 4 is when people use black for shading. As you can see over here, I have our text, and we're gonna want to shade this text obviously. So here you can see that let me just show you. This is a shading using black as the color, and it's just, in my opinion at least, just ruins the 3D completely. It's just like throwing your logo in the bin, and instead use a darker color of your 3D, and something like this will be more appropriate, look much better than just using plain black. And yeah, that's basically it for mistake number 4. And heading over to the final and last mistake that people do, and it's not applying camera filters. So you can see here there's a clear difference between these two logos. This one is more dull, while this one is more colorful and more enjoyable and more relaxing to look at, and just generally looks a lot better than this logo over here. And you can achieve something like this by just simply adding camera filter when you're done with your logo. So when you're done with adding vectors and everything, just put everything in a group and duplicate that, hide the original group, and just merge the duplicate, and then just head over to filter and press camera raw filter, or you could just press shift control A to do the same thing. But I'll just show you here. Just filter here and go with your camera filter. Just press this slider, and here you can see it might look complicated at first, but trust me, it's really easy. So you just have to move a couple of sliders, and what I recommend you moving is these sliders over here, and the texture, clarity, and then vibrance. You don't really need to touch the haze or saturation. So just bring up the opacity by a little bit, not too much, or it just look white. So just a little bit like this, and then add some more contrast. You just actually turn down the exposure, and then highlights over here, drag it up a little bit as well. And then shadows more, drag it down, and then whites, drag it up a little bit, and then blacks, drag it down a little bit. Texture, add more texture like this. Clarity as well will make your logo look a lot clearer and sharper. And then just bump up the vibrance as well, and just like that we have achieved this kind of effect. So this is before, and this is after, and this is just a second, this is loading. So before and after adding our camera filter, as you can see the logo just looks much more appealing to the eye, and I'd rather look at this than the other version. So yeah, that's basically it for this video, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and like this video, and you should also join our Discord server, the official Discord server, which will be linked down below. And through there you can contact me as well, and just talk to me or get help from designers and hang out basically. So yeah, this is it, and goodbye.